This is a PokePress special report.
All right, hi, my name is Steven. I'm from a website called PokePress. So I had a fair number of Pokemon-related questions for the two of you. Tom, first of all, you've done tons of Pokemon voices. How much direction are you given in terms of coming up with a voice for each of them, and how much of it is based on their appearance or what real-world animal they may be based on or stuff like that? How do you go about sort of figuring out a voice for those?
All right, well, there's a lot that goes into it, and it's no one is telling me what to do. I'm just, I'm the one who's kind of coming up with that, but certainly the Pokemon Company International has approved of the things that I've done and the way I go about it. And generally, first thing we do is to listen to the Japanese voice, just to hear where they're starting with it. We don't always do what they're doing, but we always give a listen to that. People have to understand that the Pokemon aren't just animals, they're characters, that they, some of them, in certain episodes, you may see one that's just a raging monster, but that raging monster, 50 episodes down the line, may have a whole big story arc and have all this personality and emotion and everything. So you've got to consider them that way. But then, there's other things, the physical cues. What do they look like? I played this creature called Gibble, who's like a mouth with legs. So when I would do Gibble, I would keep my mouth like, and I would do it like that all the time because he never really closed his mouth, so I wouldn't either. Or this thing called the Electros, whose mouth is like an O. So I would do this, and everything would come out like that. If the type of animal informs the sound, then you go with that. So I don't play these guys, but like Tepig and Mamoswine, who are sort of pig-based. They're played by a guy named Mark Thompson, who is fantastic. And he makes them a little bit piggy, And that's the other thing also, because if you listen to the Japanese, animals don't make the same sound in every language.
Yeah.
Like dogs don't woof or bark in Japan. They do something that's more like vom, which is weird. And then like cats meow instead of meow. So, that's why you don't necessarily take that into account. When you're listening to the Japanese, you're listening to the sound they're making. And then with all of this, you have to do it on the syllables of the name, which is a giant pain in the ass sometimes. Because if you end up with like really short vowels, like Gibble, for instance, is I and if you have O's and A's and big open vowels, it's easier to do more. And the other thing is under-enunciate. There were a lot of old school Pokemon before I was kind of, directing and sort of running all this and again, they were figuring out how to do it, and I'm not disparaging the early seasons of Pokemon. If they had massive success, and if not for that, I never would have had the opportunity to direct it for 8 years. But some of the Pokemon back then, it's like, I'm saying a name, and I tried to make them a little more animal. And if you under-enunciate, it helps. If you over-enunciate, you really sound like a person saying a name. So that's a bunch of stuff that goes in to creating it.
This has been a PokePress special report.